Beautiful day on the ocean today. Just me and my buddy, the booby. So today I'm going to bring you guys a little bit of a real-time update because I know we've been really quiet lately, but that's because we've been traveling and filming constant. On this particular day, Brendan and I were on the final day of our trip to St. Maarten, which is where we are now and have been for about 2 weeks. As it came up on the horizon, I found myself a little apprehensive about what we were going to find when we got there. This was our home away from home up until a couple of years ago, and I knew a lot has changed since we were here last, and it was devastated last season by the hurricanes. At first glance, I was very surprised to see that the Simpson Bay area almost looked like business as usual. It looked like almost nothing had happened. So we decided to get in the dinghy. We had to go in and clear in customs and then have a little look around. First thing we noticed was a lot of the buildings, even though they appeared normal on the outside, there was still lots of construction going on inside. And then the first familiar face we ran across was my good friend Roger Boutel, who owns Paradise Found Realty here on St. Maarten, and some of you might remember him from interviews in my previous episodes. He's also been featured in several episodes of Caribbean Life on HGTV, so you might enjoy to find him there also.
But what's this place right next to you now?
It's called Nowhere Special. The owner of the property here, his daughter opened up the restaurant after.
But Pizza Galley completely gone.
This is it. This is the next morning what it looked like. There wasn't anything left. Nothing. It was all in my parking lot right there, piled up about 8 foot high. Everything.
Wow.
Yeah. It's just gone totally.
All right, so let's see you over there.
I'll see you at Jimbo's, yeah.
Talk to you in a few.
I'm on the way. So,
thanks, Ryan.
welcome back.
Thanks, man.
Just having a first look around in the dinghy, we quickly realized a lot of the places that I had come to know for many years were no longer here. And it was very obvious that the marine sector had suffered major losses here that were still waiting for attention. That one still looks like it's got some gear in it. Some of my good friends provided some pictures of the aftermath in the day following Hurricane IRMA, and I can't even imagine what some of them went through in order to survive this storm. And when I say survive, they were literally hiding in their houses thinking they were safe, but there were projectiles and roof tiles flying around at over 200 miles per hour and taking out everything in their way. But you can see the next morning there is a face very happy to have survived. This little guy apparently got up in the morning and looked out the window and said, "Mom, it looks like dinosaurs stomped their way through St. Maarten." Just wrap your head around that one for a second.
Initially, we had it out of the south. You know how hurricanes track.
Yeah.
And I looked at the internet about an hour before we got the worst of it. And the winds were a sustained 185 miles an hour with gusts of 220 miles an hour.
That's before the worst of it.
Yeah, that was, oh yeah. We had the eye over the house for about 40 minutes where you could walk outside, you know, and at that point, because it was out of the south and my location up there, the damage wasn't that extensive. Mm-hmm. But then when it swung around and passed us and the wind swung out of the north, and that's pretty much the story for the entire island.
And this is called Point Blanche?
Yeah, Point Blanche, and you can see where all the roofs are being still rebuilt 9 months afterwards. Long recovery.
Mm-hmm.
But you know, it's just a matter of time and patience and getting the funds. Hoping this tourists come back and kind of help us out there. And then plus we had like half the inventory for all the stays. You know, Royal Palm, Flamingo, Ocean Club, Summit, completely devastated. Maho, Royal Islander, gone. So we're down like at least 5,000 rooms.
Is it slowly coming back online? Like you're getting more coming back?
Yeah. Bel Air just opened up. Atrium just opened up. Simpson Bay Resort opened up. Flamingo and Royal Palm won't be up until 2020. Ocean Club will not rebuild, so that's gone. So, you know, it's slowly but surely.
Mm-hmm.
So it depends on the stays and, of course, the rooms that we have and the airlines.
It was quite interesting. 3 days after the hurricane, you can imagine the devastation of a Category 6 hurricane. 3 days later, Royal Caribbean Cruise Line diverted one of their cruise ships from, it was over in the Western Caribbean. And 3 days later, they made an emergency stop here in St. Martin, and anybody that had a U.S. passport could get on the cruise ship. So there was a lot of tourists and a lot of people that wanted to get off this island. Of course, you got no power, no water, total devastation, 24-hour curfew on the roads. The roads are impassable because of all the debris and everything.
In the days after, I remember the first thing everybody started reporting was that there was just looting and havoc breaking everywhere.
Yeah, anytime there's a disaster, any place in the world, Rick, everybody starts looting.
Yeah, we heard the same thing in Dominique. I'm just wondering, what was it like being on the ground here at that time?
It was minimal. It was minimal. The press loves it when there's looting going on, and there's looting going on in New Orleans, Miami, any place there's a disaster, there's looting afterwards, and they love that footage, of the looting, taking all the groceries. There was some of the grocery stores here, the larger, huge grocery stores, they opened all their doors after the hurricane and told everybody to come on in and take everything off the shelves, because it's just going to go bad, So why, have it rot away? Why don't break my windows and doors?
Imagine the stores would have been insured anyway.
Exactly. Yeah. There was a minimal amount of looting, but then you don't hear anything on the news anymore about how St. Martin's doing. My family in Florida and New York were wondering, like, after the week, well, what's happening? How are you? Are you okay? Do you have power? Do you have water? You're asking all these questions. I said, you're not getting any news? He says, no, the only news we got was the looting going on there. I go, oh, great. It's like, so unfortunately, what's happened is, as the salvage companies salvage these wrecks, what are you going to do with them?
Yeah.
So they've been dragging a lot of them over here. It's only about 3-4 feet deep here on this side.
Just beaching them kind of thing?
Yeah, they're just getting them up out of the lagoon here, so they're not a hazard to navigation.
$45 million sitting right there.
I'll give him $5 for it.
Here's the storm.
Yeah, I think there was a fellowship, if you will, amongst everybody. Everybody had the same, like I said earlier, we had the same story, different agencies. And we all needed help. People came, like my wife said, that even if they had grudges together, everything disappeared. Everybody had to be a brother and a sister.
All reduced to a common level.
Yeah, everybody got to a common level to.
It was quite beautiful.
And it was really beautiful to see. I remember driving down in the morning of the second day, Mel and I in a car, and seeing Big John and all the guys and the girls cleaning the horrific mess. I said, "You guys, I love you guys. We can't pay you." He goes, "Oh, we don't want it. We want to make sure everybody's back." And that's the kind of scene you saw. Not just here, but everywhere.
Everyone was grateful that everyone was alive. It was a lot of hugging and a lot of helping, and people needed to be together too. That was another reason why we wanted to open. People could come and have a place where they could have a drink and just kind of share their story, because you need to talk, that's how you can get through. You need to tell your story.
That was one of the stories came out of some of my friends very early days, is they were saying, the first place to open, or one of the first places, was Toppers right there.
Yeah, I think we probably were the first to open.
We lost all of our equipment because we flooded very bad, so it got into all of our compressors and everything else. So we got a barbecue grill out front. We put out some music out there, and we just started.
And the guys we had to bring the music, we said, how much do I have to pay? They said, nothing.
So
we'll have a piece of chicken.
Were you just running a generator or something to keep
it
hooked up?
Running the generator.
Next, I managed to secure a meeting with Michael Ferrier, who just happens to be the Minister of Finance for the Dutch Kingdom in this part of the world. I can't tell you how interesting this was.
And the glass is always half full. And knowing our people, I am convinced that St. Martin will keep growing again by leaps and bounds. Now, having said that, you are restricted to certain things. You are restricted to how long it takes to get your hotels back up and running, because without stayover hotel rooms, you got a problem. You are restricted to how long it takes before your airport is back. Now, we've asked the airport to come with an intermediate plan, and they have. They are preparing that for us, but the plan is that they're going to put a semi a permanent structure at the airport that is going to be able to better weather storms, smaller storms. I want to say up to Category 3 may be able to
So if
be
every time
weathered.
there's something a little stronger than a tropical storm,
Storm,
we just don't have to shut
We
everything
shut down there, exactly. Now,
Mike sat with me for over an hour, and I can't tell you how interesting it was to talk to somebody about the rebuilding of a small country that had just suffered $2.5 billion in damage, while at the same time losing its major source of revenue. But for more on that, stay tuned for future episodes where we're going to have all the interviews and all the details of everything we've been doing here. But for now, let's hop back to the fun side of St. Martin and some of the other projects we've been working on. All right, we're here to meet our patron, Rick Boyd, and I see him coming. I see somebody with bags right there. I'm thinking that's him. Rick, I bet that might be you. How you doing, man?
Pretty good. Good to see
All
you.
right. My son,
Hey,
Brendan.
Brendan. Pleasure.
So how was the flight?
The flight was good, but the devastation I saw. Holy.
As most of you know, once a month we draw a name from our I Want to Go Sailing category on Patreon, and Rick was the last name drawn to come down and join us in St. Martin while we're here filming. Yeah, we just got here a few minutes ago. Well, I've still got some. You want to care? Next, we welcome aboard our next crewmate, Pageant. Here you can see her practicing her breathing exercise because she's a master freediver with a personal record of 43 meters. Now, I've done 40 feet and I thought I was going to die. So 43 meters, I can't even comprehend.
How deep is it?
So what are we doing?
Oh yeah, that's plenty deep. So right now I'm gonna try out my new fins. Just got them, Scuba Pro, carbon fiber, nice bend them. So I'm just gonna test them out. I'm gonna do a couple laps in the pool.
Carbon fiber scuba fins.
Yep.
Wild.
Yeah, I'm excited.
Damn, you really are trying to kill yourself.
Yeah, it's no deal. Taken to the edge all the time. Yeah, they're fast.
Was it your first test with them?
Yep, first test.
Oh, okay, cool. We get to see the inaugural test.
Yeah, exactly.
And back on the other side of the pool, we've got Brendan, who's been designing, building, and now testing some of his own new drone designs to further complement our tool belt of current video gear that keeps things interesting. Just over a year ago, I taught him how to solder and introduced him to racing drones. Now he'd tell you he's got a hobby that he entirely blames me for. That thing is friggin' fast, man. Holy shit. How was the camera?
Camera's fine, but trying to balance the propellers destroyed them.
Oops. Next, we've been working on a major project or upgrade for Sophisticated Lady with all hands involved. We've had 4 major companies involved in helping us accomplish this project, and been working on producing a couple of commercials for some of them also. Here's 2 samples of the commercials with a few hints built in as to what we've been up to. See if you can guess what it is. And this next one was filmed and edited entirely by Brendan on his own, using one of my drones and literally a $500 camera with a couple of old prime lenses he paid like $10 for. So for those of you that think you can't do videography on a budget, watch the video and you tell me. Alright, so if you haven't guessed what we're up to and what our major project is yet, then you haven't been paying attention, so maybe you need to watch it again. But when I watched that video the first time, I remember I looked at it and I went to Brendan and I said, Brendan, I didn't see any of my shots in that video. It's like, yeah, that's the point. This little bugger's already trying to replace me and I'm still breathing. But he did such a great job to it, it was amazing. It almost brought tears to my eyes, I really loved it. And anyway, here we are at Ile de Sol, just hanging out. It's Sunday fun day, and here's the crew. Got a killer foosball game going on.
God, you're killing me.
I guess I don't need to ask who's winning then. Yeah, you guys haven't officially met Pageant here.
Hello.
But she's just arrived this week, showing us some of her many talents.
Getting my ass kicked or
well, it's foosball, at least it's fun. You're a PADI certified rescue diver.
Yep.
So that is very cool. I'm thinking there's going to be lots of things she's going to be helping out with, because from here, we're finishing up in St. Maarten right now as we speak, and tomorrow is our weather window to sail to BVIs. And that's where I'm thinking you might be able to help out even with documenting some of the underwater life and see what the reefs look like and just, you know, see what's going on down below the water surface.
Yeah.
So that's her passion
get
for
the
fur.
full picture.
But you didn't come from this life of water world or anything like that. You were actually in like, you said you had a degree in what?
In finance. Yeah, so I came from a finance background. Yeah, and actually when I
That's
quit,
an odd mix.
Yeah, totally different world. When I quit, I was working in one of the big bad oil companies in Houston.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, so I quit and joined the better world of what we're doing today. So I'm looking forward to documenting and doing everything that we're going to be going to do moving forward.
We won't hold that against you.
Yeah,
At least
please don't.
you're here
please
now.
Don't hate me. I'm here. I made the right decision.
You're here now. Yep, she gave it all up to come and live this life. So.
Yeah.
So that's
Absolutely.
cool. So yeah, Pageant's going to be around for a while, and yeah, hopefully doing the offshore trip down south with us too, because we're only going to be in the BVIs for a very short time, and of course Hurricane Susan is looming. So
Yeah.
don't say
Scary
that too
words
loud.
around
Yeah.
here.
But we're bugging out, so real fast. So yeah, our next stop is going to be Bonaire, I think, after that, just depending on, again, the weather. But Bonaire, Curacao, something like that. So
Yeah,
we got a bit of an
looking forward to
offshore passage. Oh, and for those of you that don't know also, we have an almost new Instagram. It's been around since February or so, but we haven't really had much time to do with it. Brendan and I have been too busy to run it, so Pageant has graciously accepted the challenge of taking over our Instagram. So we'll probably start it up with some of her recent pictures we took here, like this one, and maybe this one. And if you want to see more of what she'll be publishing on our Instagram, then just follow this link right here down at the bottom and it'll take you right there. So that's going to be great. So we're happy to have her along for the ride. And of course, you guys remember Rick. Hi. Yeah, and Rick, as you saw in this video, just arrived about 2 weeks ago. It's like, oh my God, time flies. And he came here, as you know, he's drawn from our I Want to Go Sailing category on Patreon. And he's basically waiting to go sailing patiently. What would your take be on your time here so far?
Well, the good thing is to see the spirit of the people. As strong as it is, it's still smiling, talking as in the past tense, not the future tense, something coming. And they just have great attitudes about bring it back, and I think they will be right back where they were very quickly. But the cool thing was, as a Patreon, seeing the behind the scenes of what you and Brendan, the amount of time that you spend working on getting the videos together and the editing and putting it all together is absolutely mind-boggling how you're able to do it.
Yeah, no, Rick's been great to have on board and a big help, so helping out with everything we've been doing. And I'm looking forward to having him on board for the trip over to BVI's, and that's coming up next.
I'm looking forward to that. Being able to see the stars at night is something I haven't seen in a long time.
Well, I hope we get to see them. We're actually going over on a weather window that's invoked on us because of a big dust storm coming off the Sahara Desert.
Sahara, yeah.
So it's going to be full of Sahara dust, so visibility is probably not going to be that great. Don't know what it's going to be like in the upper atmosphere if we'll be able to see the stars or anything, but I'm sure it's going to be beautiful. My favorite thing is night sailing, as some of you already know, and that's what we're going to be doing tomorrow night.
I want to thank my wife, Lisa. She stayed at home. We own an Irish pub called the Harp and Kelp in Orlando, and when I came here, it was just when World Cup was starting up.
So it's been good, at least. It's been steady.
Oh,
She's
absolutely.
kept busy. Probably not even missing you. Just goes home.
Oh,
thank God he's not
I owe her
here.
big time. I owe her big time.
All right, yeah, thanks to you, Lisa, for letting them come down. It's been fun having them around.
Up you.
So now what we're going to do, while Rick is here and Pageant is here, we're going to have the draw for the next patrons that are going to be invited to come down. As you see, the magic bucket.
Magic bucket.
So, are they all shaken up?
Oh yeah.
All right.
Roll it for good luck.
Yeah, Rick first.
Okay, here we go. Let's see. Okay, got it?
If he draws his own name, I'm going to burst out laughing.
3 times.
I forgot about that. His name is still in there.
Rick Boyd.
No.
Actually, it's Bob Caverly. Bob Caverly?
Bob Caverly.
Come on
All right.
down.
Bob.
You can go ahead and draw the second one too.
No, you get to do the second
Oh,
one.
you did the second one. Oh, you did the second
Yep.
one.
Pageant gets to draw the second name.
Okay. And how would you say the first name?
Ulick Johns.
Johns.
Ulick
Johns.
Johns.
Ulrich, something like that. Jans. So yes.
Johns.
All right, Ulrich Johns.
Come on,
you
baby.
are
Winner.
invited.
Come
So
join us. It's
if
gonna be
either of you
fun.
can make it down, then great. We're gonna see you real soon, and you'll be able to share in our adventure in the British Virgin Islands. So drop me an email at the email address below, rick@ambientreallife.com, or on Patreon from your account there.
And come on down.
Yeah.
It is a great time.
Looking forward to meeting you.
Yeah, thanks everybody. Glad you were joining us for this episode. I hope you enjoyed it, and we'll see you again next episode. Oh, and next episodes are going to go back to our normal timeline again. So yeah, we've still got some Delos episodes to share with you guys. So lots of fun on the way. You got to remember, we spent 6 weeks with those guys, man. It was a howl. It's all coming your way. So stay tuned, and we'll see you next week.
See ya. Bye.
Bye for now.
Whoa. Okay, never mind that.